Do you fear the worst will happen? My name is Heidi Cole. Each morning I read a short daily devotional to encourage you in God's truth and His Word. My heart is truly for that busy mom, busy woman who doesn't have time each day to turn her focal point back to God. I know because I've been there. If you learn to trust me, really trust me with your whole being, then nothing can separate you from my peace. Everything you endure can be put to good use by allowing it to train you in trusting me. This is how you foil the works of evil, growing in grace through the very adversity that was meant to harm you. Joseph was a prime example of divine reversal. Declaring to his brothers, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Do not fear what this day or any day may bring your way. Concentrate on trusting me and on doing what needs to be done. Relax in my sovereignty, remembering that I go before you as well as with you into each day. Fear no evil, for I bring good out of every situation you will ever encounter. Okay, Genesis 50, verse 20. As for you, you meant it for evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring about the present result, to preserve many people alive. And Psalms 23, verse 4, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So, when you really learn to trust in God, with your whole being, there's nothing that can separate you from His peace. And we see here in where they're talking about Joseph. And, if you don't know that story, his brothers threw him down in a well. He was sold into slavery. He served in prison. And then all of a sudden, because of dream interpretation, years and years later, he was put into a place of second to the king. And because of that, God gave him wisdom, and because of that wisdom, he prepared when they had big famine. So they had abundance for 7 years, and then there was famine for 7 years. But because of his wisdom and God working through him, he preserved that food for those 7 years of famine, where everybody in the world basically were coming to them for food because they were the only one that had it. And even their brothers, years later, after he was sold into slavery and now is in this position, they came for food. And that was when they found out that Joseph really was put in charge. So what God allowed to happen, and what the brothers thought was for evil to sell their brother, years later, it saved their life, and God used that. And I can think of a situation where we were in business, and we had a terrible thing that happened in one of our franchise restaurants, and because of it, we wound up losing that business. But we were in business with family, and we were looking to try and separate that business, and we didn't know how to do that because it was getting large. And but what we didn't know how to do, God took us out of, and He separated it for us, and He just changed our total direction in life. So, those are two examples of biblical example where Joseph was used, and God used a terrible situation in our life to bring glory to Him, and everything worked out for the best. And so fear no evil. What can happen in your life? For God can bring good out of every situation, no matter if it's your life, and you can see example after example in the Bible also. So I hope that this has meant something to you, and if it has, and you found value in it, share it with someone you know. And if there's anything that we can be praying for you, please DM us. We would love to pray for you. Thanks, and have a blessed day.